What's going on, y'all? Must I introduce myself? Okay. It's your boy Bash. And I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering, Bash, where have you been? We don't see you posting content no more on Reels, on social media. Where is the content king? Well, let me tell you, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. You know, um, a lot's been happening with work, having to travel back home to be with the family for a little bit, experiencing deaths left and right. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. But nonetheless, I'm still alive. I'm well, and so I give all the glory to God for that. I have good health, and I'm here. I'm here. That means I have another chance at life, another chance to keep on going and keep doing what I'm doing. I know you guys are probably asking me yourselves, what is this? Why is this guy sitting in front of a mic? Why is he sitting in a director's chair? And what is all this? Well, this is my very own curated podcast. This is something that I've been putting off for a while. When you have a gift and you shy away from that gift, and God has had it up to here with you, and so it gets to a point where you can't run away anymore, right? It's that thing that keeps on bothering you. It keeps on whenever you don't do it or whenever you don't work towards it, you feel uncomfortable. You feel like you're just idling by and life is just moving right past you. I just had to sit in self reflection and think of, the things that I'm doing, during the time when I was posting on social media, the content, the reels, the fashion reels, and things like that. Though it was my way of expressing myself creatively, I had to sit with myself and ask myself, am I moving in purpose? Am I truly doing what God has called me to do? To some extent, yes, but not fully, and there's times when I would just sit in my thought and think, what are some things that if later in my years, if when I'm older, I look back and think about these things, and not working towards these things, would I regret it? Would I live and just regret, just wondering what could have been, And so when I think of these things, I think of the gift that God has given me to be a light to the people using my voice. And so this is what this is. This is a podcast where I will be sharing a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge with you guys, which means a lot of the things that I will be sharing with you guys are biblically sound principles that helps us as Christians, navigate the creative industry. In addition, I will have guests, Christian artists, influencers, celebrities, creatives, from different types of industries come onto this podcast to share with you guys their experiences, their story on how they have been able to navigate, as creatives, being Christians. There's the struggle of being a Christian, right? We know how that walk can really be challenging sometimes, though it is rewarding when we commit fully to it, right? It is rewarding, but it doesn't come without its challenges. And so we have being a Christian that is a challenge, and also working our fields, working within our industries. Sometimes that comes with its own challenges. And when you bring those two things together, it's like, man, like sometimes you feel lost. Sometimes you question yourself, am I doing this the right way? Am I walking in the will of God? Is God pleased with the way I'm doing things? I wanted to be, the first to tell you guys that it happens. It is real. It happens. Just know that it happens. It has happened with me. And so this is me coming out of that season, of complacency, of just not feeling like I'm good enough or I'm doing enough, and just living in fear, fear of what could be, fear of change, just fear. And I know that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of sound mind, a spirit of power, spirit of love. And so I had to remind myself of that verse and to, to really stop beating myself up and to really now get up, move, take a step forward instead of just sitting in my despair, sitting in my sorrows. I want to welcome you guys onto this podcast. It is a journey. And so this will not be a 1 day's journey. This will not be a 2 days, a week, a year. This is a lifelong journey. I've been doing it behind cameras, but now it is time to be vulnerable with you guys and put it in front of the camera to, be open with you guys and sharing with you guys my stories, my testimonies, and even my experiences. What I've learned in this creative space, what works, what doesn't work, my success, and also my failures. And along with that, the Christian artists and the Christian guests that I will be having on this podcast will also be sharing their stories with you guys. And so, in doing so, it will help to unpack some of the questions that we have, some of the things that we often deal with in silence, wondering if there's anybody else in this world who's going through the things that we're going through, right? We ask ourselves, sometimes we feel like we're the only ones in the world who's going through what we're going through. And so this is a podcast to share with you guys, no, you're not alone. We are all connected in some form, so faithfully threaded, which is the name of this podcast, is what it entails, that we are all one. Together we are going through this life, different threads, doing different things, but together we're coming to really paint this picture, to put together this beautiful art, this beautiful masterpiece, of what community looks like, of what serving each other looks like, of what being humble, and putting our pride aside, putting our ego aside, and really just looking to see how we can serve one another, and together we know that as we work to help each other, God will work through us and bring about his glory. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. And please come be a part of this community of believers who are empowering each other to thrive, not just in faith, but also in creativity. It's your host, Sebastian. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. And remember, together, we are faithfully threaded.